The crystalline spires of the Galactic Council's headquarters pierced the violet sky of Centauri Prime, their surfaces reflecting the light of 3 moons. Inside, Naira Kvel adjusted her iridescent robes, her silvery skin catching the ambient light as she prepared for the most important diplomatic meeting of her career. As the Xylaxian Empire's premier telepath, she had participated in countless negotiations, but this was different. Today marked humanity's first official petition to join the Galactic Alliance. The meditation chamber felt unusually cold as Naira centered herself. Her species, the Xylaxians, had evolved powerful telepathic abilities over millennia, making them the galaxy's foremost diplomatic mediators. Their gift for reading minds and emotions had prevented countless wars and brokered peace across star systems. But humans were an anomaly that made her antenna twitch with anticipation. Ambassador James Harrison strode into the chamber, his confident bearing at odds with the weight of responsibility he carried. Earth's future in the galactic community rested on his shoulders. Naira observed him with both her physical and psychic senses. His dark skin contrasted sharply with the formal white diplomatic uniform, and his eyes held a warmth that seemed characteristic of his species. Ambassador Harrison, Naira spoke, her melodic voice carrying the formal tones of diplomatic greeting. I am Naira Kvel, telepathic mediator for the Council. Harrison smiled, extending his hand in the human gesture of greeting. The pleasure is mine, Mediator Kvel. I understand you'll be facilitating our discussions today. Naira inclined her head, her antenna glowing softly. Indeed. With your permission, I will maintain a light telepathic connection during the negotiations. This ensures absolute clarity and prevents misunderstandings between species. Of course, Harrison nodded, though Naira detected a slight tension in his shoulders. We were briefed about this. Please proceed. Naira extended her consciousness toward Harrison's mind, expecting the familiar sensation of thoughts and emotions flowing into her awareness. Instead, she encountered something entirely unexpected. His mind was like a tempest. Thoughts whirled and crashed against each other in patterns she had never encountered before. Where other species' minds were organized like libraries or flowing rivers, Harrison's consciousness was a hurricane of ideas, memories, and emotions. Does she know about the mining rights dispute? Keep calm. Remember the briefing. Should have had coffee. The lights in here are beautiful. Focus, James, focus. Earth needs this. My daughter would love these crystals. The gravity feels weird. Stay professional. Naira fought to maintain her composure as the chaotic stream of consciousness battered against her psychic defenses. She had never encountered a mind so alive, so resistant to traditional telepathic scanning. It wasn't that Harrison was blocking her, his thoughts simply refused to be contained or directed. The formal negotiations began, with various council representatives joining them in the chamber. Naira struggled to maintain her connection to Harrison's mind as he presented Earth's case for membership. His thoughts continued their frenzied dance. The Rigelian delegate looks bored. Did I emphasize the cultural exchange benefits enough? That trade proposal needs work. My back itches. The numbers, remember the numbers. That alien looks like my neighbor's cat. Stay focused. As the hours passed, Naira made a startling discovery. Despite the apparent chaos of Harrison's thoughts, he was performing brilliantly. The very turbulence that made his mind so difficult to read also made it impossible to predict or manipulate. When the Andromedian representative tried to corner him on a point of law, Harrison's mind simply shifted like quicksilver, finding unexpected connections and solutions. During a brief recess, Naira retreated to a private chamber, her silver skin pulsing with exhaustion. She activated her communicator, connecting to the Xylaxian High Council. Emergency report, she transmitted. The human mind, it's unlike anything we've encountered. Their consciousness operates in patterns that defy our understanding. Traditional telepathic protocols are ineffective. The response was immediate, explain. Their thoughts are pure chaos, yet they function at high efficiency. Ambassador Harrison's mind actively resists telepathic guidance without any training or effort. It's as if their entire species has evolved a natural defense against psychic intervention. The silence that followed was heavy with implication. Finally, her superior responded, "Continue monitoring. This requires further study." The negotiations resumed, but Naira's focus had shifted. She watched in fascination as Harrison navigated complex diplomatic waters with an adaptability that seemed to stem from the very chaos of his thoughts. When the Centaurian delegation raised concerns about human expansion, Harrison's mind exploded with possibilities, memories, and random connections that somehow coalesced into a brilliant response. By the day's end, Naira had developed a splitting headache, but her respect for humans had grown immensely. As Harrison prepared to leave, she made one final attempt to understand his mind. The experience was like trying to grasp water. The harder she tried to hold it, the more it slipped away. "Ambassador," she called out as he reached the door. "How do you manage it?" Harrison turned, puzzled. "Manage what, Mediator Kvell?" "The chaos. Your thoughts, they're like a storm. How do you function with such discord in your mind?" He laughed, a warm, genuine sound that sent ripples through her psychic awareness. "Chaos? That's just being human, Mediator. We thrive on it. Sometimes the best ideas come from the strangest places." As she watched him leave, Naira realized she had witnessed something revolutionary. Humans weren't just another species joining the galactic community, they were something entirely new. Their chaotic minds might be resistant to telepathic influence, but perhaps that very trait made them valuable allies. In her private quarters that night, Naira composed her official report to the Council. Her fingers hesitated over the terminal as she chose her words carefully. "Humanity represents an evolutionary path we never anticipated. Their minds are not merely resistant to telepathic intervention, they have evolved beyond the need for such organization. In their chaos lies a strength we are only beginning to understand. Recommendation: proceed with membership negotiations, but with caution. The galaxy may never be the same." The Grand Council chamber hummed with tension as Naira's holographic report played before the assembled representatives of the galaxy's most powerful species. The massive circular room, with its soaring transparent dome revealing the star-studded space above, had never felt so small. First Speaker Thalrix, a towering meridian with phosphorescent markings flowing across their crystalline form, raised a hand to pause the playback. "This is disturbing. A species naturally resistant to telepathic influence. The implications are severe." Naira stood at the center of the chamber, her silver skin dimmed with exhaustion after days of analyzing her encounter with Ambassador Harrison. Disturbing, yes, but also fascinating. Their resistance isn't a defensive mechanism, it's a fundamental aspect of their consciousness. The chamber erupted in murmurs as various council members processed this information. Ambassador Vex of the Quantum Collective, there form a shimmering cloud of neural particles, pulsed with agitation. "Have you attempted deeper scans? Perhaps their resistance is merely superficial." "With respect, Ambassador," Naira's antenna flickered with barely contained frustration, "attempting deeper penetration of a human mind would be like trying to organize a supernova. Their thoughts don't just resist organization, they actively defy it." To demonstrate her point, Naira activated a neural projection, displaying the comparative thought patterns of various species. The Meridian mind appeared as elegant crystalline structures, the Quantum Collective as precise mathematical patterns. Then came the human mind, a swirling maelstrom of colors and connections that seemed to follow no logical pattern yet somehow functioned with remarkable efficiency. "As you can see," Naira continued, "human consciousness operates on principles we barely understand. Their thoughts form connections in ways that appear random but produce surprisingly effective results." High Counselor Zira, an ancient Nexian whose bioluminescent tendrils had guided the council for centuries, leaned forward. You speak almost admiringly of this chaos, Mediator Kvel. Should we not be concerned? A species immune to telepathic oversight could pose significant risks to galactic stability. Naira took a deep breath, knowing her next words could shape the galaxy's relationship with humanity for generations to come. High Counselor, I believe we're approaching this from the wrong perspective. We've always viewed ordered thought as the pinnacle of evolution, but what if we're wrong? What if the human mind represents not a failure to achieve order, but an entirely different path of cognitive evolution? The chamber fell silent as she projected her recordings of Ambassador Harrison's negotiation performance. Observe how the very chaos of their thoughts becomes an asset. When faced with complex diplomatic challenges, Harrison's mind didn't follow linear problem-solving patterns. Instead, it created unexpected connections, finding solutions that none of us had considered. First Speaker Thaurix's crystalline form dimmed thoughtfully. You suggest their mental chaos is advantageous? More than that, Naira's excitement broke through her diplomatic reserve. I believe it's revolutionary. Humans don't just think differently, they think in ways that could revolutionize our understanding of consciousness itself. She brought up another holographic display, this one showing the rapid technological advancement of human civilization. In mere centuries, they've progressed from primitive technology to space travel. Their chaotic thinking drives innovation at a pace we've never seen before. They make intuitive leaps that our ordered minds might never consider. Ambassador Vex's neural cloud swirled with skepticism. But without telepathic oversight, how can we trust them? How can we be certain they won't become a destabilizing force in the galaxy? Naira's response was measured but firm. Perhaps trust isn't about control. The humans have developed their own methods of cooperation and diplomacy without telepathic abilities. Their history is marked by conflicts, yes, but also by remarkable instances of collaboration and mutual understanding. She projected one final image, a recording of Earth's cities at night, a web of light spanning continents. Their civilization is built on millions of minds working together, each one a storm of thoughts, yet somehow creating harmony from chaos. They've achieved this without telepathic guidance, without enforced mental order. High Counselor Zira's tendrils pulsed with ancient wisdom. You believe we should proceed with their membership application? I do. Naira stood straighter, her conviction evident in every word. But we must approach them as equals, not as subjects to be controlled. Their mental resistance isn't a flaw to be overcome, it's a trait that could bring new perspectives to our galactic community. The council chamber erupted in debate, with various factions arguing for caution or acceptance. Naira watched as the representatives of 1,000 worlds grappled with the implications of her report. The galaxy was changing, and humanity's chaotic minds might be exactly what they needed to face an uncertain future. As the session concluded, First Speaker Thaurix approached Naira privately. Your report has caused quite a stir, Mediator Kvel. Some would say you're too fascinated by these humans. Naira's antenna glowed softly as she considered her response. Perhaps fascination is exactly what we need, First Speaker. We've grown comfortable in our ordered existence. The humans remind us that there are other ways to think, to exist, to evolve. Their chaos might be exactly what our civilization needs to avoid stagnation. Thaurix's crystalline form shimmered with something almost like amusement. Then perhaps it's time we learn to embrace a little chaos. The Council has approved continued observation of humanity. You'll be our primary contact with them. As Naira left the chamber, she couldn't help but smile. The galaxy was about to become a much more interesting place, and she would have a front-row seat to the revolution of consciousness that humanity represented. The Tokyo Research Institute stood as a testament to the merger of human and alien architecture, its traditional Japanese gardens seamlessly blending with crystalline structures that seemed to defy gravity. Naira Kvel stood at her observation window, watching the sunrise paint the sky in hues her species had no words for. After 3 months on Earth, she was still adjusting to the planet's raw, untamed beauty. The door chimed, and Dr. Ravi Kapoor entered, his mind a familiar whirlwind of thoughts that Naira had learned to appreciate. As the Institute's lead researcher on human-alien relations, he had become her primary partner in studying humanity's unique mental characteristics. "Good morning, Mediator Kvel," Ravi smiled, placing a cup of tea on her desk. "I thought you might enjoy trying matcha today. It's quite different from your usual selection." Naira's antenna glowed with appreciation. "Thank you, Doctor. I've found that embracing human customs helps me better understand your species." She lifted the cup, inhaling the unfamiliar aroma. "Though I must admit, your variety of beverages still puzzles me." Ravi chuckled, his thoughts spinning with memories of different teas he'd enjoyed across the world. "That variety you find so puzzling? It's exactly what we're studying today. Have you reviewed the latest test results?" Naira gestured to the holographic display floating above her desk, showing brain scan comparisons between humans and various alien species. "Yes, and they're fascinating. When presented with identical problems, human minds show dramatically different neural activation patterns than any other known species." She manipulated the display, highlighting specific areas of activity. Where other species follow predictable pathways, human thoughts seem to ricochet through their minds like particles in a quantum cascade. "It's beautiful, in its way." Beauty in chaos, Ravi mused, his own thoughts creating patterns that Naira found mesmerizing. "You know, that's something we humans have always understood instinctively. Look at our art, our music, our literature, we find patterns in randomness, meaning in disorder." Naira's silver skin rippled with interest as she pulled up another set of data. "That's what makes your species so remarkable. Yesterday, I observed a group of human children at play. Their minds were even more chaotic than adults, yet they were solving complex social and physical problems without even realizing it." The holographic display shifted to show recordings of the playground observation. Children ran, jumped, and invented complex games with rules that seemed to change by the minute. Their minds blazed with creativity and possibility. "That's the thing about human children," Ravi said, his thoughts warming with memories of his own childhood. "We don't teach them to think chaotically, we actually spend years trying to teach them to think more orderly. Yet somehow, that underlying chaos remains our greatest strength." Naira's antenna pulsed with sudden insight. "Perhaps that's why traditional telepathic techniques fail with humans. We've been trying to impose order on minds that naturally resist it. It would be like trying to freeze a flame, the very act destroys what makes it unique." She brought up another display, this one showing the results of voluntary telepathic experiments with human subjects. "Look at these patterns. When humans actively try to organize their thoughts for telepathic communication, their cognitive efficiency actually decreases. But when they let their minds wander freely, the chaos becomes the connection," Ravi finished, his eyes lighting up. "We've been approaching this all wrong, haven't we? Instead of trying to make human minds more like alien ones, maybe we need to develop new ways of telepathic communication that work with our natural thought patterns." Naira's excitement matched his own. "Exactly. I've been developing a new theory. What if human consciousness evolved specifically to be unpredictable? In a universe full of telepathic species, developing minds that couldn't be easily read or controlled would be a significant evolutionary advantage." She projected a new set of data, showing the success rates of various telepathic species attempting to influence human decisions. The more a telepath tries to direct a human's thoughts, the more random and unpredictable those thoughts become. It's like your minds have developed an automatic defense mechanism, not by becoming harder or more ordered, but by becoming more chaotic. Ravi leaned back in his chair, his mind spinning with implications. "That would explain a lot about human history. Our ability to adapt, to find unexpected solutions, to resist conformity, it's all connected to this fundamental chaos in our thinking." "And it goes even further," Naira added, her silver skin gleaming with excitement. "I've been studying human creativity, particularly in crisis situations. When faced with seemingly impossible problems, human minds don't just become more chaotic, they somehow use that chaos to make intuitive leaps that more ordered minds would never consider. She displayed recordings from various human emergency responses, natural disasters, technological failures, medical crises. In each case, the human mind's chaotic nature had led to innovative solutions that saved lives. It's remarkable, she continued. Other species see chaos as a problem to be solved. Humans embrace it as a tool for problem solving. Your art, your science, your philosophy, they all stem from this ability to find patterns in chaos and create order from disorder. Ravi stood and walked to the window, watching the morning traffic flow through Tokyo streets. You know what's truly ironic? We spend so much time trying to control chaos, to impose order on our lives and our world. But maybe our real strength lies in our ability to thrive within that chaos. Naira joined him at the window, her antenna glowing softly in the morning light. Perhaps that's humanity's gift to the galaxy. You show us that there's more than one way to be intelligent, more than one path to understanding. Your chaos challenges our assumptions about consciousness itself. As they stood there, watching the city wake up, Naira felt a deep shift in her understanding. She had come to Earth to study humans, but she was learning something far more profound, that the universe itself might be more chaotic than ordered, and humanity's seemingly disordered minds might be better equipped to navigate that reality than anyone had imagined. The emergency alarms shattered the peaceful morning at the Tokyo Research Institute, their piercing wail echoing through crystalline corridors. Naira's antenna flared with alarm as she processed the incoming data streams. A quantum containment field in the advanced physics lab was destabilizing, threatening to tear a hole in the fabric of spacetime itself. Status report, she commanded, her silver skin pulsing with urgency as she rushed toward the crisis center. The facility's AI responded with clinical precision, containment field integrity at 47% and falling. Estimated time to critical failure, 18 minutes. Standard containment protocols have failed. Emergency evacuation in progress. Dr. Ravi Kapoor burst into the center, his mind a hurricane of calculations and possibilities. The automated systems can't handle it, he reported, fingers flying over holographic controls. The quantum fluctuations are too unpredictable. They're not following any known patterns. Naira watched in horror as the containment field's energy signature became increasingly erratic. Traditional Xylaxian quantum mathematics, the most advanced in the galaxy, proved useless against the chaos unfolding before them. The very laws of physics seemed to be breaking down around the failing containment field. We need to evacuate, she declared, her diplomatic training kicking in. The facility's loss would be regrettable, but... No, Ravi interrupted, his thoughts suddenly crystallizing into something Naira had never seen before. We can contain this, but not with traditional methods. We need to think like the quantum particles themselves, embrace the chaos. Naira's antenna twitched with confusion. What are you suggesting? Your research about human minds, how we naturally operate in patterns that seem random but aren't. What if that's exactly what we need here? His thoughts were racing faster than Naira could follow, making connections that defied conventional logic. More humans rushed into the crisis center, Dr. Isabella Santos, a quantum physicist, and Dr. Wei Chen, an expert in chaos theory. Their minds blazed with activity, each approaching the problem from wildly different angles that somehow began to complement each other. Look at the field fluctuations, Isabella pointed to the swirling patterns of energy. They're not random, they're following a strange attractor pattern, just like weather systems on Earth. Wei's thoughts exploded with recognition. Yes. We've been trying to force the quantum particles into ordered patterns, but what if we work with their natural chaos instead? Naira watched in fascination as the three human scientists began working in a way she'd never witnessed before. Their minds didn't align or organize, instead, they seemed to resonate with each other's chaos, creating a symphony of disorder that somehow produced brilliant clarity. We need to modify the containment field, Ravi explained, his hands dancing over the controls. Instead of trying to impose order on the quantum particles, we'll create a field that mimics their own chaotic patterns. Isabella's mind leapt to the next step. Like surfing a wave instead of trying to stop it. We can use the facility's power grid to generate a resonant frequency that matches the quantum fluctuations. Wei finished, already implementing the calculations. But we'll need to adjust it in real time. The patterns are too complex for any computer to predict. Naira's diplomatic training warred with her scientific curiosity. That's impossible. No one can process quantum variations that quickly. Ravi's eyes met hers, blazing with determination. No ordered mind can. But we're not ordered, are we? Our chaos is our strength. Naira, we need you to link our minds, not to organize our thoughts, but to help us share them, raw and unfiltered. She hesitated for a fraction of a second, then extended her consciousness toward the three humans. The experience was unlike anything in her centuries of telepathic practice. Instead of trying to impose order on their chaotic thoughts, she simply created bridges between them, allowing their mental chaos to flow and blend. The effect was immediate and stunning. The three human minds began operating in perfect discord, their chaos harmonizing in ways that defied explanation. As quantum fluctuations rippled through the containment field, the humans responded instinctively, adjusting the resonant frequencies with impossible speed and precision. Naira watched in awe as the containment field stabilized, not through imposed order, but through controlled chaos. The quantum particles, rather than being forced into artificial patterns, were guided into a new kind of equilibrium that seemed to dance on the edge of disorder. As the crisis subsided and the facility's alarms finally fell silent, Naira realized she had witnessed something revolutionary. The humans hadn't just solved a problem, they had demonstrated an entirely new way of thinking about order and chaos. How? She asked finally, her silver skin still shimmering with residual energy from the mental link. How did you know that would work? Ravi smiled, his mind already calming from its heightened state. We didn't. But sometimes you have to trust in chaos. It's not just how we think, it's how the universe itself works. We've just been too afraid to admit it. Isabella nodded, her thoughts spinning with new theoretical implications. The quantum field wasn't failing because it was becoming chaotic. It was failing because we were trying to make it too ordered. Sometimes the best way to maintain control is to let go of it. This changes everything, Wei added, already documenting their improvised solution. Not just for quantum containment, but for our understanding of how human consciousness could interface with advanced technology. Naira looked at her human colleagues with new respect. What she had initially seen as a limitation, their chaotic, unpredictable minds, had proven to be their greatest asset. In a crisis where perfect order had failed, human chaos had found a way through. As the cleanup crews began their work, Naira composed a priority message to the Galactic Council. Today's events have proven that human cognitive patterns represent not a primitive state to be overcome, but rather an advanced adaptation perfectly suited for dealing with the fundamental nature of our universe. Their chaos is not a weakness, it is the next step in cognitive evolution. The Grand Council chamber was filled to capacity, representatives from every spacefaring civilization gathered to witness what many were calling the most significant scientific presentation in galactic history. The quantum containment incident at the Tokyo Research Institute had sent shockwaves through the scientific community, challenging fundamental assumptions about consciousness and reality itself. Naira Kvel stood at the center of the chamber, her silver skin glowing with quiet confidence. Beside her stood Ravi, Isabella, and Wei, their minds humming with their usual creative chaos. The holographic displays around them showed complex data from their groundbreaking research. Distinguished members of the council, Naira began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. 1 year ago, I reported that human minds were resistant to telepathic influence due to their chaotic nature. Today, I can tell you that we were wrong, not about the chaos, but about what it means. She activated the main display, showing the interlinked patterns they had discovered. Human consciousness isn't merely resistant to telepathic control, it represents an entirely different approach to processing reality. Where we sought to impose order on the universe, humans evolved to embrace its inherent chaos. The chamber filled with murmurs as Naira displayed the quantum containment incident data. When faced with a quantum-level crisis that defied our most advanced mathematical models, three human minds working in chaos harmony found a solution that no ordered consciousness could have conceived. Ravi stepped forward, his thoughts creating beautiful patterns that Naira had learned to appreciate. Our universe isn't the ordered system we thought it was. At its most fundamental level, reality itself operates on principles of controlled chaos. Human consciousness evolved not despite this chaos, but because of it. Isabella brought up her quantum physics data. We've discovered that human neural patterns mirror quantum fluctuations in ways we never imagined possible. Our chaotic thinking isn't a primitive trait, it's an advanced adaptation that allows us to intuitively understand and work with the universe's basic nature. First speaker Thalrix's crystalline form pulsed with concern. You suggest that our entire approach to consciousness has been incorrect? Not incorrect, Wei replied, his mind spinning with elegant mathematical proofs. Just incomplete. Order and chaos aren't opposites, they're complementary aspects of a greater whole. Human minds demonstrate that chaos can be a form of order itself. Naira manipulated the display to show their latest discovery. We've learned to create a new kind of telepathic link, not one that imposes order, but one that allows chaos to flow and harmonize. The results have been extraordinary. The display showed recordings of human-alien collaborative projects where this new approach had led to breakthrough after breakthrough. Problems that had stumped the greatest ordered minds in the galaxy were being solved by teams embracing controlled chaos. But the implications go far beyond problem solving, Naira continued. We've discovered that human mental chaos serves another crucial function, it makes their consciousness inherently resistant to external control. In a universe where telepathic species are common, humans evolved the perfect defense, minds too chaotic to be predictably influenced. Ambassador Vex's neural cloud swirled with interest. You're suggesting this was an evolutionary advantage? Precisely, Naira confirmed. Human history is filled with examples of their ability to resist control, to think unpredictably, to find solutions no one else could see. What we perceived as primitive mental disorder was actually an sophisticated adaptation. High Counselor Zira's ancient wisdom pulsed through her bioluminescent tendrils. And you believe this discovery changes our understanding of consciousness itself? It changes everything, Ravi answered, his excitement impossible to contain. We've already begun developing new technologies based on chaos harmony principles. Quantum computing, space-time manipulation, even consciousness transfer, all transformed by this new understanding. Isabella brought up the final set of data. The universe isn't a perfectly ordered machine, it's a dance between order and chaos. Human consciousness evolved to mirror this dance. We don't just think differently, we think in a way that matches reality's deepest patterns. And so, Naira concluded, her antenna glowing with passion, we stand at a crossroads. We can continue to impose order on a chaotic universe, or we can learn from humanity's example and embrace a new kind of harmony, one that encompasses both order and chaos. The council chamber erupted in discussion, but Naira could already sense the shift in understanding. The fear of human mental chaos was being replaced by recognition of its value, its necessity in the greater scheme of things. As the session concluded, first speaker Thalrix approached the human scientists. Your species continues to surprise us. Perhaps it's time we reconsidered not just our understanding of consciousness, but our approach to the universe itself. Later, in the gardens outside the chamber, Naira watched the three humans discussing future projects, their minds blazing with possibilities that would have seemed impossible a year ago. She realized that humanity's gift to the galaxy wasn't just their unique way of thinking, it was the recognition that difference itself was valuable, that there was no single right way to be conscious. You know, Ravi said, noticing her thoughtful expression, for all our chaos, humans have always understood one thing clearly: the most beautiful patterns often emerge from apparent disorder. Naira's silver skin shimmered with agreement. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. The universe isn't something to be controlled or ordered. It's something to be experienced, embraced, and understood in all its chaotic glory. As the twin suns set over the galactic capital, casting rainbow shadows through the crystalline spires, Naira felt a profound sense of optimism. The future would be neither purely ordered or purely chaotic, it would be a harmony of both, a new way of existing that embraced all forms of consciousness. Human chaos had changed the galaxy forever, and she couldn't wait to see what other surprises their wonderful, unpredictable minds would bring to the universe.